Welcome back, Shady peeps, to the Shady Corner Lewdcast. It's your boy Shades again, and today we're interviewing Pixie Willow, a not safe for work voice actress.
Hello.
She has starred in Grimgate. She's going to be in Call Me a Legend, I think. I don't think they've released that yet. And she's also going to be in Shattered Lands and Queen's Brothel. And she's also going to be in Shady Lewdcast, though we haven't actually announced the character she's going to be playing, so you're going to have to wait for that. But Pixie Willow, thank you so much for taking the time to chill out with me for a little bit and have this little interview.
It's no problem. It's nice to be here.
I wanted to ask you, and I asked this with everyone, is what made you get into the... Well, actually, tell me more about you and the roles that you're currently doing. Are there some roles that I don't know about? I've noticed that a lot of the voice actresses do a lot of smaller roles as well, especially in the SFM style market with the 3D animated stuff. Are there other roles that you're also known for?
Yeah. So with the SFM stuff, you do or some people do the shorter jobs on the side as a bit of a buffer. We also a lot of us have started making packs, like voice packs. So sound designers can buy them and then morph it into the animations. So we're not constantly working on the smaller jobs. Yeah. So as you were saying with the Call Me a Legend thing, that is fully released.
Nice.
That was a fun one. That was a lot of characters as well. That was five girls in that game. Yeah, that was. It wasn't a massive job to do, but it was. There was a lot of variation needed.
It tested your vocal range.
Yeah. It really did. There's another company as well, which is quite big. Called the game or the simulator is called Virtuamate or Virtuamate.
Yep.
Which is this VR simulator with live physics, and it's beautiful. And I've given it a shot myself. I was going to do a review of it, a video review. But it's just amazing. You can play with the girls' hair, and their body reacts as you would expect it to with hands and stuff. So I've also done some work with them. You've got Man of Stories, where I'm Sylvia in that. That's been going on for a couple of years. But yeah, bigger jobs. I do bigger jobs as well as small ones.
Of course.
I keep busy.
What made you get into voice acting, and do you also do safe for work on the side of your not safe for work voice acting?
Yeah, so acting in general, it's very satisfying to do. It's fun. With the safe for work thing, I do have two different handles. There's still a lot of stigma surrounding adult themed work. So keeping everything neat and tidy for now is probably my best course of action.
Of course.
Yeah.
What made you want to actually dive into it? And especially what made you want to take the leap into the not safe for work sector?
I hadn't actually considered it before I went full dive.
Okay.
I was maybe just turning 19. I was 18 or 19. I had the kit already. It wasn't a great kit, but I had a decent studio microphone and a small bedroom. And somebody, a good friend of mine, threw me this casting call for Studio Faux. And I gave it a look over and I was just like, I might as well. There's nothing stopping me. So I went ahead. I applied for that. And I got it, and from then, I just enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it, so I kept on at it. And the rest is just set in stone now.
What made you pick your name, Pixie Willow?
Okay, Pixie. That has been with me since I was a very young girl since I was like maybe 11. And then the Willow thing kind of came on when I was 16. I went through this phase where I enjoyed this certain song and this artist, and then I also thought the trees were really pretty, and I was just obsessed. So I just smashed them together, and I don't think it's going anywhere at this point, because if I've been Pixie Willow since I'm 16 and I'm 24 this year, yeah, it's stuck.
I love finding out how people make their names, because sometimes it's the most elaborate story, and then sometimes when I ask people, they're like, "Oh, I kind of just stuck two words together. There wasn't really a sort of great story behind it."
Me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Do you find it hard to separate your safe for work and not safe for work? Because I understand you were just saying before that obviously the stigma of keeping both those worlds separate, but if you're doing work in both those sectors, do you find it hard sometimes? It clashes a little bit?
Sometimes you do get a role that the line is blurred. Okay. So it can be 80% clear of any adult themes, but then 20% it's a bit extreme. Like there's a rape scene or something, but it's differentiating whether it's pornography or whether it is part of a story. It does get difficult. It really does get a bit blurred sometimes, because you can come across people who have written something that's almost glorifying what's happening to the person. Which in that case I would probably throw it off to my not safe for work handle.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer doing safe for work or do you prefer doing not safe for work? And I know that's a big question to ask.
I don't think I have a preference. I think they both have their pros and their cons. Both I get to do what I enjoy doing. For example, clear name work is significantly more difficult to land roles for. There's just so many people doing it at the moment. Not safe for work, it can take its toll on you physically, depending what you're doing. But yeah, no, they both. I like them both. I think they kind of weigh each other out in different ways.
What would you say has been your funnest role so far?
I think probably the most recent role I did for a certain project under your name, your wing. Am I allowed to say, or am I not? Is this still?
Oh, see, hang on. You're automatically picking me. You can't do that.
No, please. It was so fun.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not often I get to play around with accents.
All right, so let's talk about what is your normal warm-up routine like when you're getting ready to hop into that booth and to do the voices?
Oh, there's a lot of mental preparation. A lot of the times, if I'm going into a booth, it's going to be hours of sweating and repeating myself and going over the same thing. But usually, whilst I'm doing mental prep, I will go shower, clear my mind whilst I'm showering, have a cup of tea, warm up my facial muscles, maybe in the shower, try and combo things together, a vocal warm up, and then straight to work. I don't like to faff around too much, if I'm honest.
I love the word faff. It's great. I love that word faff around. What would you say are your biggest inspirations? Not just in general, but also the other people in the voice acting sphere. Are there any inspirations that you look towards?
My good friend Silky, I know she would be okay with me mentioning her. She's extremely talented, and she is a role model. She is. Yeah, I adore her.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's done, I think now. Oh, I don't want to get it wrong. I think she's done 9 voices so far in Shady Lewdcast alone.
Bloody hell, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and every time I think that she's just run out of range, I'll put a post up and she'll audition for it. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? How the fuck are you, like, so, like, your range is huge, man. No,
yeah.
That's amazing. All right, let's go off the tangent here. What do you do when you're not voice acting, when you just want to chill out and you just want to forget the work? You want to forget the things that you love doing in front of the microphone. What do you do outside?
Are you implying I leave the house? I like my games a lot. Mm-hmm. So if I have downtime, if I'm not streaming as well, I will just hammer out a game.
Do you actually do streaming as well?
Yeah, kind of, very sporadically. Okay. Not as a serious thing. I have affiliate, but I'm not like a hardcore streamer.
And so you're saying you're playing games. What games are you currently playing at the moment?
Final Fantasy VII for the first time, and I'm ashamed to say that.
Oh, don't be that's fine. That's completely fine.
I've never played. I've played the number 8. Mm-hmm. I've played some of the more recent ones, but it's so good. I didn't expect it.
Oh, it's such an enjoyable game.
Like you don't need all the fancy la-di-da graphics to
you don't.
Really knuckle into that story.
Where are you up to in the game?
It's
actually,
brilliant. Without including spoilers, because I wouldn't be surprised if other people haven't played it. Mm-hmm. I have gotten to the part where is it Sephiroth? Sephiroth?
Oh, Sephiroth, yep.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. He has just he's not a happy bunny.
He's not.
With the mansion, you go into this mansion and then he's not a happy bunny by the end of it.
That is a perfect description. I know exactly where you are.
Much displeased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What role would you die for?
This is a hard one.
I know. I'm putting on a lot of pressure. You got it. But this is the one role that you want. The one, and you never know, that one person might be listening, and then they're like, that Miss Willow chick. She might actually be really good for it. So.
Oh, okay. I personally enjoy my story-driven games, like Half-Life or Stanley Parable with the narrator in that. Something like that would be really cool.
Okay.
Just the most sarcastic or the most intense role possible. I would be down for it. I want that.
So you want a narration role is what you're after?
Not necessarily just narrative. That would be cool. That would be fun to play with. But like in Half-Life with, say, Alex had a really nice role.
So what advice would you give for people who want to get into voice acting?
Is this adult or just?
I mean, you could answer in both sectors, really. I mean, I guess there are different requirements for each one. But I mean, if you were just going to go into voice acting in general, I mean, what advice would you give to someone if they wanted to get into it?
I would tell them to work hard and to keep at it. It does get extremely difficult at times, but it's remembering that that's okay. And sometimes you just got to power through it and give it your all. And sometimes that doesn't pay off. Sometimes it doesn't. But taking that on the chin and being like, yo, I've given it my everything. I can't do any more. Move on to the next one. If you specifically want to creep into adult voice acting, there's currently a Discord specifically open to VAs and clients. It's pandered entirely to VAs, where we've got lists of casting calls, resources, everything. You can even go in there and bounce off of other voice actors on the scene and ask what their opinions on certain things are. It's super, super duper handy to connect.
I was going to say the whole Discord thing has actually made it so much more easier now to manage everything.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just us who benefit.
Usually at this part of the interview, I have a little game that I like to play with everybody. So normally with the developers, I do this thing called Dirty Development, where I get them to actually pitch me a lewd video game idea based on words that I give them. But because you are of the voice actress spectrum, I play this other game where I give you a sentence and then I give you a prompt on how you should say it, like what type of voice you should say it in. Okay.
You're savage.
I know. Get wrecked, son. Okay. So So the sentence that I have for you, and this is coming from a random sentence generator. The sentence reads, "The light at the end of the tunnel would die for a grapefruit." Now, I've posted it in your chat for you, so you can see it. So the first prompt that I want you to say that in is I want you to say it as a feisty character.
The light at the end of the tunnel would die for a grapefruit.
That was quite feisty.
Can you eat my arm? Oh, fucking hell. Jesus Christ!
Okay, alright.
I don't like it.
Well, now you have to say it sultry.
The light at the end of the tunnel would die for a grapefruit. This is fucking weird. This is so weird.
Oh, okay, alright. So, this is so great. Shy.
The light at the end of the tunnel would die for a grapefruit.
This next one, I don't think you'll be able to pull this one off at all, because honestly, I don't think this is in your range. English.
Piss off. Piss off.
Okay, alright. We can skip that one because I know that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Alright, evil.
The light at the end of the tunnel would die for a grapefruit.
Okay. That really added to it. Okay. Okay, how about Goofy?
The light at the end of the tunnel would... Wow, I fucked up. I have no dignity.
No. Not by the end of this, you won't. No.
None. Zilch.
All right, manly.
Manly.
Yeah, manly. Okay, last one. And it's going to be hella easy for you because you're so talented. And
Okay.
you're bruh, you got it, all right? A monster.
Yeah. Can that suffice?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's more than fine. Oh my god, this has been. Oh my god, I'm actually in tears. Like my face is soaked with tears because that was so funny. Oh my god, thank you so much for playing that little game. So we're now at the end of our little interview, but I just wanted to get you to pitch yourself to say to the audience where can they find you. You know, where are all your places that they can go to find all your work?
There's primarily there's Twitter and Patreon. Twitter is really good to keep up to date with just me in general and what I'm doing. That's /_ Pixie Willow.
Mm-hmm.
And my Patreon, which is just Pixie Willow, you can slide over there and see what you can grab from.
Yeah, and she does a really good...
Have a nosy.
She does a really good monster, so you wanna head on over there. Thank you so much, Pixie Willow, for joining me on the Shady Corner Lewdcast. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
And to all the peeps that are listening, good night.